The myth we're sold: why Black women entrepreneurs are winning the race but losing the game. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolice, like sweet softness whispered in French, and I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I want to share something with you that might completely disrupt everything you thought you knew about entrepreneurship, opportunity, and what it really takes to build something from the ground up. I recently had the honor of sitting down with Tane Wimberly, a powerhouse advocate, strategist, and truth teller who's been on the front lines of dismantling systemic barriers facing Black women entrepreneurs. Tanequa's work is transforming how we understand economic equity, and her insights are nothing short of revolutionary. She's not just talking about change, she's creating it. One conversation, one policy shift, one empowered woman at a time. Her voice is a force that refuses to let the world stay comfortable in its inequities, and her impact is rippling through boardrooms, policy discussions, and the lives of thousands of Black women who are building businesses against impossible odds. So here's the question I want us to sit with today: how are we learning to be soft in a world that taught us survival, especially when that world keeps telling us we have equal opportunity, but the numbers, the stories, the lived experiences tell us something completely different? Let me start with something that might surprise you. We've all heard the narrative, right? Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in North America. We're launching businesses at record rates. We're educated, we're ambitious, we're resilient. The headlines celebrate us, the think pieces applaud us, the conferences invite us to speak on panels. But here's what they don't tell you: despite being the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, Black women receive less than 1% of venture capital funding. Less than 1%. Let that sink in for a moment. We're starting businesses at the highest rate, but we're getting the smallest slice of the investment pie. And it's not just about venture capital. Black women are self funding their businesses at rates far higher than any other group, often pouring in tens of thousands of dollars of their own money, money they've saved, scraped together, borrowed from family just to get their dreams off the ground. And even when they do seek traditional funding, they face higher loan denial rates, more scrutiny from investors, and exclusion from the very networks that are supposed to support women in business. So the narrative of equal opportunity, it's a myth, and it's a dangerous one because it makes us believe that if we're not succeeding, it's our fault, that we're not working hard enough, not smart enough, not strategic enough. But the truth is, the system was never designed to support us in the first place. Tanequa Wimberly shared something with me that I can't stop thinking about. She said that even in spaces designed to empower women entrepreneurs, Black women are still being left out. Think about that. Spaces created to uplift women, and yet Black women are still fighting for a seat at the table, still being overlooked, still being underfunded. It's not just about gender, it's about race. It's about the compounded barriers that Black women face, barriers that are so deeply embedded in the system that even well meaning initiatives can't seem to dismantle them. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're one of the 1,500 Black women founders in Canada who participated in a groundbreaking survey designed to understand your entrepreneurial journey. You're smart, you're educated. 58% of the women surveyed held a bachelor's degree or higher. 58%. You've got the credentials, you've got the vision, you've got the business plan, and you're ready to build something extraordinary. But here's what happens next: you apply for venture capital funding and you're told no. You apply for a loan and you're denied at a higher rate than your peers. You look for mentorship, and the networks you need access to are either closed off or geographically out of reach, concentrated in just 3 cities. You try to join women's business networks, the very space designed to lift women up, and you find yourself excluded, overlooked, invisible. So, what do? You dig into your own pockets. You self fund up to $100,000. $100,000. You work a full time job and build your business on nights and weekends. You sacrifice sleep, time with your family, your own well being, because you refuse to let this dream die. And somehow, despite all of these barriers, 44% of you make it to the growth phase of your business. 44%. But here's the question we should be asking: why should it be this hard? Why should Black women have to be superheroes just to get to the starting line that everyone else is already standing on? And let's talk about what this costs us, because it's not just about money, it's not just about missed opportunities. It's about what happens to a woman's spirit when she's constantly told through action and inaction that her dreams don't matter, that her work doesn't matter, that she doesn't matter. Every loan denial is a message. Every closed door is a message. Every time she has to self fund while watching less qualified founders get millions in backing, that's a message too. And that message is trauma. It's exhaustion. It's the weight of carrying a cape you never asked for, a cape that society draped over your shoulders and then blamed you for wearing. Now, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because this isn't just about individual entrepreneurs. This is about our entire economy. If Black women owned businesses achieved revenue parity with their peers, it would add hundreds of billions of dollars to the North American economy. Hundreds of billions. That's not just good for Black women, that's good for everyone. That's jobs, that's innovation, that's economic growth, that's entire communities lifted up. But we're leaving that money on the table because we're not investing in Black women entrepreneurs. We're not giving them the resources, the networks, the capital they need to succeed. We're celebrating their resilience while refusing to remove the barriers that require it. Let me take you to California for a moment. Picture this: Black women make up only 6.6% of California's female population, 6.6%. And yet they're leading in education, healthcare, and business. They're showing up, they're voting in record numbers, they're driving policy changes, they're crucial to the state's progress. But here's the reality they're living in: they're overrepresented in poverty and underpaid, earning about 60 cents for every dollar paid to white men. 60 cents. Many of them are struggling with housing instability, spending half their income just on housing or childcare. Half. So you've got women who are educated, ambitious, and capable, women who are leading industries and communities, and they can't even afford stable housing. They're building businesses while wondering if they'll be able to keep a roof over their heads. They're mentoring the next generation while struggling to feed their own families. But here's where the story shifts. Because when Black women are given the resources, the support, the community they need, magic happens. Programs like She Works California and Supporting Our Sisters were launched to provide skills training, job access, and leadership development. And these programs are working. Women are gaining confidence, they're securing employment, they're taking on leadership roles in their communities, they're transforming data into action, and they're supporting Black women's upward mobility in tangible, measurable ways. This is what's possible when we invest. This is what's possible when we create tailored support. This is what's possible when we stop expecting Black women to do it all alone. Now, let me take you into the data industry for a second. Black women currently make up less than 1% of professionals in this field. Less than 1%. In an industry that's shaping the future, that's driving artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the technology that will define the next generation, Black women are almost completely absent. Not because they're not capable, not because they're not interested, but because they're not being given access. So, an organization called Black Women in Data was founded to change that. They're offering community, advocacy, and skill building programs with a goal to reach 13% representation by 2040. 13%. That's not an unrealistic goal. That's just asking for Black women to be represented in proportion to their presence in the population. But even that feels like a mountain to climb because the barriers are so entrenched. And yet they're doing it. They're creating visibility. They're building mentorship opportunities. They're shifting industry norms and inspiring a new generation of Black women leaders in tech. They're proving that when you create space, when you open doors, when you invest, Black women don't just survive, they thrive, they lead, they transform entire industries. So, what do all of these stories have in common? They show us that the problem is not Black women. The problem is the system. The problem is a structure that was built without us in mind, a structure that continues to exclude us even when we show up with degrees, with business plans, with vision, with everything we're told we need to succeed. And here's where this connects to the soft girl era, because the soft girl era isn't just about bubble baths and self care Sundays. It's not just about putting on a silk robe and lighting a candle. It's about dismantling the systems that force us to be strong all the time. It's about creating a world where Black women don't have to hustle twice as hard for half the recognition. It's about building communities, networks, and systems that support us so we don't have to carry everything on our own. Tanekwa reminded me that community and tailored support are essential. Programs and networks specifically designed for Black women can help bridge the gap. But here's the catch: they remain underfunded and often inaccessible, especially for mothers or those outside major cities. So even the solutions we create for ourselves are under resourced. Even the spaces we build to heal, to grow, to thrive are struggling to survive. And that's why this conversation matters. Because if we want to truly step into our soft girl era, if we want to rest without guilt, set boundaries without apology, and embrace softness without explanation, we have to dismantle the systems that demand our constant survival. We have to invest in Black women. We have to fund their businesses. We have to open doors. We have to create access. We have to stop celebrating their resilience and start removing the barriers that require it in the first place. Because here's the truth: resilience is beautiful, but it shouldn't be a requirement for survival. Strength is powerful, but it shouldn't be the only option. Softness should be accessible. Rest should be a right, not a luxury. And Black women should be able to build, lead, and thrive without having to fight for every single inch. So here's what I want you to walk away with today: this is not just a Black woman's issue. This is an economic issue. This is a societal issue. This is a moral issue. When we leave Black women behind, we all lose. We lose innovation. We lose economic growth. We lose the brilliance, the creativity, the leadership that could transform our communities and our world. But when we invest in Black women, when we remove the barriers, when we create access and opportunity, everyone wins. Everyone. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. How can you use your influence, your resources, your networks to help dismantle the barriers facing Black women entrepreneurs? And I don't want you to just think about it. I want you to act this week, not next month, not when it's convenient, this week. Maybe it's investing in a Black woman owned business. Maybe it's amplifying their work on social media. Maybe it's connecting them to someone in your network who can help. Maybe it's advocating for policy changes that increase access to capital. Maybe it's mentoring a Black woman entrepreneur. Maybe it's simply showing up, listening, learning, and refusing to stay silent when you see exclusion happening. Because the soft girl era isn't just about us learning to be soft, it's about creating a world where softness is possible, where rest is accessible, where Black women can build, lead, and thrive without having to fight for every single breath, where the myth of equal opportunity becomes the reality of equitable support. So let's choose softness, let's choose rest, let's choose boundaries, but let's also choose action. Let's choose equity. Let's choose to dismantle the systems that keep us in survival mode because this world will only change when we decide to change it. And that decision starts today with you, with me, with all of us refusing to accept a system that was never built for our success. The fastest growing group of entrepreneurs deserves more than less than 1%. They deserve everything. And it's time we gave it to them.